Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Warcraft lore video. Today we've got so much to talk about. Wrathion has been traveling the world seeking knowledge, and we have just found his journal pages. They contain so much knowledge with deep implications for the lore that could foreshadow future plot lines in the game.
Final boss confirmed.
It might even shine both Mechagon and Medivh in a new light.
What
but that's not all that you can shine in a new light. You see, our man Wrathion, he is a black dragon, and you can learn about the origins of his kin through Dawn of the Aspects for free on today's sponsor, Audible. You know Audible, they've got audiobooks nailed. They give you one per month, it's yours to keep forever, and you can get your first audiobook free with my link. Blizzard have updated much of their audiobook library, and Dawn of the Aspects is
I would do that if I could read.
You will hear the Titan
Unfortunately,
Keepers.
nobody in this chat can read, so we don't use
And
this.
most important, you'll see the origins of Alexstrasza,
Nobody can read.
Dumu, Ysera, Malagos, and Neltharion, with the latter of whom even having a few spooky hints. Life's busy, we don't all have time to sit down with a book and read, and what better way to pass your commute or your walks than a 14 hours of top-notch Warcraft lore content. So head up my link below for a free 30-day trial of Audible that comes with one book for free for life, even if you cancel, but there's loads more Warcraft content out there to get. So thank you very much to them for sponsoring this video. And let's get into the lore. So we are called to the Chamber of the Heart after it's revealed that Ebonhorn is...
Bro, I've got to get sponsors, man. Like, I mean, the thing is, I see, like, everybody else has, like, these sponsors, these, like, fucking boxes on their screen. And, like, meanwhile, like, I don't have any of that shit. I'm not getting any sponsors. And I need to ask Wendy's. Well, the thing, yeah, NordVPN. There's one right there. Rogaine. I'm not going to get a sponsor from Rogaine. Because why the fuck... Think about this, right? It's like having Slim Fast, you know, the weight loss thing. Are they going to sponsor someone who's 600 pounds? Fuck no, because you're going to see that guy, and you're going to be like, you know what? It doesn't work. Because you look at it, like, I can't be sponsored by Rogaine if I'm losing my fucking hair. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, no, they can't sponsor me. Like, maybe if I use Rogaine and it works, maybe they'd sponsor me, but I don't want to. I feel, doesn't Rogaine lead to like erectile dysfunction or something like that? I've never had that be an issue, and so I'm very, I don't know, just the whole thing just kind of, yes, I don't know, man. I would rather not have my hair and have a hard dick. That's just the truth. Like, that is the choice that I have chosen, okay? Like, I cannot have my hair, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, no, I'll tell you guys, like, because, like, both of them are confidence things. Because, like, well, you're like, being able to have your hair, but, like, if you know you've got just, like, this floppy fucking fish in your pants, you know, and it's just not that great, you're gonna go into everything with a diminished sense of self-esteem. And I'm not gonna deal with that, man. I'm just fucking not. Let's get back to the video.
Struggling with Old God Whispers, Kalecgos sends us off in search of Wrathion because he suspects that Wrathion might have more information. Of course, Ebonhorn is one of Wrathion's few fellow black dragons, and it's also known that Wrathion has been out searching the world for knowledge. Perhaps Kalecgos even knows more than we do. Anyway, we set off to Pandaria, and we head to the Tavern of the Mists. After defeating two peeking ZOTH eyes, we get some more information from Wrathion's guards, left and right, and they let us read a part of his journal, and then they point us to Blackwing Descent, the next place for us to go. And with the spooky eyes watching, it's pretty clear to everyone involved that ZOTH is also hot on Wrathion's trail. So let's examine this first journal page that we are given. It is page 7, Chandrilar. Now, Wrathion
I fucking hated that rep, man. Of all the reps, I hated Chandrilar. It was the worst.
5 years ago. The Chandrilar are a sect of Highborn who resided in Elder Thalas, a night elf city that is now known as Dire Maul. Way back in the day, they were working on secret projects for Ashara. They were really loyal, sort of top-end Highborn.
I never got exalted with these guys.
After successfully shielding their city from the Sundering, they found that, well, the Well of Eternity was gone, and that led to a plan where they imprisoned a demon to use as a source of power. Now, this continued for years, through which they were just isolated from the rest of society, tending to their massive archive of knowledge. Things got worse, though, when the net energy gains from their demon plan began to decrease, so with less energy to go around, their king murdered many of his own people, with him and the remaining Chandler retreating to a smaller part of the city.
That's the way it goes.
The rest of the city being inhabited by other groups, as we see in the Dire Maul dungeon. Now, they maintained a library that contains vast knowledge, likely owing to the secret work they did for Ashara.
What if, I just thought about this, bro. Like, what if in the next expansion, Dire Maul was the mega dungeon? That'd be fucking cool. Like a new Dire Maul, like mega dungeon. The thing is, Dire Mauled. Okay. Listen, it would be amazing. I would love it. I worry that it wouldn't be expansive enough. Because what I don't like about dungeons nowadays is that they're all designed to be run in Mythic Plus. And because they're all designed to be run in Mythic Plus, you don't have like longer, more extravagant dungeons. You have things that are very much designed with a streamlined perspective. And unfortunately, this happened even in fucking like BC. Like, even in BC, there were very few dungeons that had anything more than just, like, a streamlined boss-to-boss perspective. I'd like to see dungeons go back to what we had, like, in Vanilla WoW with, like, Maradon and BRD and stuff like that. It was much more exciting for me personally.
They were mostly killed in vanilla, but some did re-enter Night Elf society in Cataclysm, leading to the Night Elves actually becoming mages. Now, Wrathion speaks about how he went there to search their archives, and how he found vague references to the old gods, mostly just being archaeological footnotes. Wrathion notes that the Chandler could not fully unravel the intricacies of the Black Empire's dark magic, but he found that some of them actually dabbled in the void, and this is a major lore reveal. And basically for Wrathion, the lessons that they learned give him hope that the void can be harnessed against ZOTH. Now, this, of course, ties into the recent plotline we've been seeing with Illyria and Locust Walker, of course, as well with the Alliance Void Elves.
That's a lot,
and it could
dude.
also nod to Xal'atath. Of course, Xal'atath
That's
has
a
many
lot.
reasons to hate the old gods. They trapped her in that blade for millennia, and she, of course, is an incredibly powerful void being. Perhaps she could even return to help us against ZOTH. Hell,
I'm not gonna trust that bitch anymore. Like, for real, like, after that bullshit that she did at Crucible of Storms where she just gets us stuck there with that dumbass eye thing on her head, no, fuck that, dude. Like, I'm tired of her. I don't want to hear any more of her bullshit. Like, it's been 2 years, and it's been enough.
what if she even ended up allying with Sylvanas and we got an alliance of death?
Oh, jeez.
Of course, that's just one of many speculative directions, so let's move on. Wrathion then says something that's a bit of a nod to his past efforts, but such is the nature of warfare, is it not? Seldom does it accomplish the intentions of its architects, and never without leaving immeasurable destruction in its wake, especially when the Horde and the Alliance are the forces in conflict. Can one ultimately say that victory is worth the price that must be paid to achieve it? Now, this obviously is looking at the current battle for Azeroth, but of course, in Mists of Pandaria, he orchestrated elements of that Alliance Horde war. Eventually, he betted on the Alliance, hoping they could wipe out the Horde and claim the entire planet, resulting in a unified Azeroth that could withstand the Legion, in his view.
That's right.
Not knowing that the Alliance and the Horde made each other stronger. Now, when that failed, he then invited in the Iron Horde, thinking that he could use the parallel universe time travel shenanigans.
I was so hyped whenever I saw this, man. What the fuck happened?
Yes, that one did not work out.
What the fuck happened, dude?
That's this journal page. What have we learned from it? Well, it further reinforces that Void can fight Void and be a force for good, as far as we're concerned. It suggests that the ancient Highborn were aware of the old gods and the Black Empire, as they also knew about the Void. Now remember, these are the same Highborn who were doing secretive work for Ashara, and this does lead one to wonder how much Ashara knew about the old gods. I mean, she did say, "You watched me for 1,000 years, so you know what I want," during Warbringers, and then prior to that, ZOTH did say that, you know, he'd been watching her, so perhaps
a little creepy,
they
you know?
somewhat knew about each other. Probably ZOTH knew more about Ashara. It's pretty clear, though, that back then, Ashara was looking into a lot of things, but of course her own character flaws really are what got in the way of her using her knowledge for an overall noble goal.
Koki,
anyway,
thank you
let us
very much
move
for 10
onward.
subs, man.
With that read, we then
Koki.
travel to Blackwing Descent, where we find a sleepless interrogator peering into the mind of one of Wrathion's agents. Now, this is the very same agent who we talked to after the Black Dragon Island Expedition quest, the same one who confirmed to us the existence of the Dragon Isles. Now, this agent, when we find them, they are alarmed that...
Was that actually true? Wait, so the Dragon Isles got confirmed? What the fuck?
Got in his mind.
Holy shit.
He tells us to go to Karazhan's catacombs, but
damn,
not before handing us another journal page.
I forgot all
so
about
in this
that.
page, Wrathion talks about his experiences with the Lore Walkers and all the knowledge that they had collected.
Imagine how fucking badass it would be if the next expansion, the 2 new zones were like the Dragon Isles and Ny'alotha. I mean, if they fucking did that, man, oh my god, that would be huge.
Well as
hopefully
with
that's
the
going to
Shadowpan,
happen.
who he found to be quite unlike the Lore Walkers, not really being interested in matters that are external to Pandaria. He notes that the Shadowpan scholars are experts in combating the dark powers of the Sha without succumbing to their influence. Of course, the Sha originate from an old god, so Wrathion deduces that their seemingly stoic ways are pretty key to resisting the old god's whispers. Noting that the Shadowpan are the continent's sole defense, and that they are sort of disconnected from society in that manner, he says that he feels kinship, something that's referencing really how he views himself as a black dragon, as basically being the person who's got to save the planet, but in a way that will isolate him from other people. So yeah, he's got a savior complex, and he's got daddy issues. That's Wrathion. He talks about how the Shadowpan train to seal away their emotions, and how it's no easy task to stand alone in the darkness of
they're Jedis, basically.
Very fantasy writing there. Now, what do we learn from this? Well, the old god whispers, they play in one's emotions and their attachments. The Shadowpan being more rooted in, I guess, Eastern philosophy regarding things like the unburdening of one's attachments. Well, I think that all makes a lot of sense when you think about how it would resist the influence of an old god. You know, the lack of attachments and the ability to be free from one's own thoughts. That is what would result in being immune, or at least strong to, the old god whispers, because they tend to rely on negative what-ifs to really get into
strong mind and a long dick.
Really, a lot of this does seem to be written as a bit of a foil to Western stereotypes, which very much is something we saw throughout Mists of Pandaria. Anyhow, let us move onwards. So after refreshing on our Pandaria lore, we then head to the Karazhan Catacomb entrance, and there we find 2...
I like how he put in that fucking lightning strike, just, you know, for a little bit of background noise to create the ambience of the video, right? You're going into the Karazhan crypts, fucking lightning's coming down, you come up against the door. I like that. This is special.
Dead ZOTH agents and 1 dead Wrathion agent. We find another journal page, this time talking about the Titans. Wrathion talks about his interest in Titan technology and knowledge. This is something that he's always been interested in, but there is a strange angle to it. Of course, in Mists of Pandaria, after eating the heart of Leich, the spirit of Aman'Thul entered him, and he said this: "We have fallen, we must rebuild the final Titan, do not forget." That is something that, of course, foreshadowed the reveal of Azeroth being a Titan World Soul. Now, right after that, Wrathion said that he felt massive knowledge, but that it pretty much all left him once the little episode was over. Now, the problem here is that Aman'Thul's soul ended up in Antorus, so either Wrathion had an unexplained run-in with Iminar, the Soulbinder, or we have a plot hole in our hands. Anyhow,
I wonder which one it is.
In his journal about how he
There's
believes
no way
for
that would be a plot hole.
that the Forge of Origination will be key to defeating the old gods, even though he's not exactly sure how. He says that he went to the Vault of Archivon but was repelled by the giants, and finally he muses on his...
And this guy's supposed to help us kill fucking N'Zoth. He gets farmed by a level 80 raid boss. I mean, that's sad, dude. That's just sad.
Young age, and he laments how the other dragons won't trust him, but he knows that his own dragonflight has had a troubled past, as he also has as well, given Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah, everybody in the Black Dragonflight's an asshole, basically.
But instead of Wrathion,
it's like 2 people that's not.
Faceless, who of course we defeat, because it's World of Warcraft, we always win, and this leads to us getting the...
That makes me mad, dude. Like, think about how easy that fight was. Like, this fight could be badass. Imagine if, like, you get to this point, and this is, like, a Mage Tower level encounter. And, like, maybe not Mage Tower, but it's pretty hard to do, and, like, you have to have good gear. And if you complete it, you get, like, the fucking page, and it gives you, like, I don't know, like, 20,000 AP or something like that. It would be amazing, dude. Like, all they have to do is make the content harder and give it better rewards, and people are going to enjoy it more. Like, it's really just that simple. Making everything easy so every single brain-dead moron that plays this game is able to complete the entire questline without even opening their eyes hasn't been doing the game any fucking favors.
Final journal piece, page 58. This page details his excitement with Karazhan and its knowledge, and that by using that knowledge, he has been able to create a tonic that cleanses old god corruption and silences their whispers. So that's pretty darn major, isn't it?
Pretty easy.
Now, what's more interesting to me is that he learned a lot more, though, from talking to Medivh's spirit. And they talked about Medivh's struggles under Sargeras, which led Wrathion to wonder what his, father, I guess, what Neltharion's experiences were like as he was succumbing to madness. Medivh spoke about how he returned to the mortal realm and guided civilizations toward defeating the Legion, speaking of how he forged a new legacy. And this is when Wrathion realizes that maybe this is what he wants. Maybe he wants to make amends for the mistakes of himself and his forebears, to have the Black Dragonflight actually fulfill their original mission, to defend Azeroth. Wrathion then writes directly to the player, yes, to you. He tells us that he left these pages with his agents so that we may have them. And he ends it this way: rest assured that when the time is right, you will have my aid in the fight against ZOTH, in the true battle for Azeroth. Yep.
That's fucking badass.
The title of the expansion in the expansion.
That's fucking badass. I love that, dude. Well, that was actually really, really good. And I hope that, like, Wrathion is actually an important part, but, I mean, after getting repelled by the Vault of Archivon, not good.
Mother, who scans them before destroying
not
them,
good.
And we are able to save Ebonhorn using Wrathion's tonic, leaving us with a lot to think about and a lot to speculate on. This is going to be exciting. The final boss of BFA. This suggests that ZOTH could be the end boss, as Wrathion does say that ZOTH is the true battle for Azeroth, and this is Battle for Azeroth. Him talking about the Alliance and the Horde warring is certainly interesting, especially when combined with what he learned from Medivh. Perhaps, when the time is right, Wrathion will return and advocate for the end of the faction war, sort of as Medivh did back in the day, leading into a ZOTH-focused patch 8.3. This could happen, but it will massively depend on where the war campaign of 8.2.5 leads us. Now, while it may be Wrathion's plan, that does not mean that he will succeed in his plan, of course. But there's a lot more. We also learned that it's possible to create an old god corruption cleansing tonic. Now, we don't know how it works exactly, but Wrathion clearly does because he was able to make it. Perhaps by furthering his research into the mechanics by which this tonic works, we'll be able to find out a more fundamental way to combat the old gods.
I hope they do this in like 2 expansions, because I feel like if they wrap the whole thing up in BFA, it's going to be rushed. It's kind of like how whenever we went to Argus, I wish Argus was like half of the expansion rather than like a third or like a fourth of the expansion. Because like if we had gone through and there was like more interaction with the Titans, I don't know, I would have appreciated that more. Like in my mind, Tomb of Sargeras did not really have to happen. Trial of Valor did not really have to happen. And now, obviously, in the lore it did, and same with Emerald Nightmare, in the lore it did. But I would have rather them focus on making the content around, like, that core story. And I would have liked if Argus was a bigger part of the story. I would have liked that they made Argus bigger in general. It was only 3 zones. Argus is supposed to be a whole planet. Like, why are we not getting, like, basically an expansion-sized, like, area? Like, why the fuck not? I don't know. I was kind of disappointed about that.
Although until then, maybe Shadowpan, like Zen and Discipline, will be our best defense. But still, this could lead us places, specifically the Forge of Origination, which he does mention, and he believes is key to defeating the Old Gods. Now, the Forge was a key plot point in Cataclysm and Wrath of the Lich King. Originally, the lore was that if activated, it would re-originate the planet, and that would destroy all life and bring it back to its original state. Kind of reminds me of the Halo rings. Now, when Algalon was called down to Ulduar, he deemed Azeroth far too corrupted and attempted to activate the Forge of Origination, but in defeating Algalon, we were able to prove that we had a chance to actually save ourselves from the corruption, and we proved that his mathematics were flawed, his calculations were wrong, because he thought himself invincible to us. Now, the lore of the Forge of Origination was updated when Chronicle Volume 1 was released, aligning its role with the reveal that Azeroth was a Titan World Soul, and indeed just the entire concept of World Souls existing. So, the new lore is that the Forges of Origination and Wills were built after the fall of the Black Empire, with the Forge of Wills nurturing the World Soul's sentience and the Forge of Origination bolstering its form. Should Azeroth fall to corruption, though, the Forge will activate, destroying all life on the planet. So, Wrathion could try to, well, re-originate the planet using the Forge. That would be a level of extremism, though, that Wrathion seems to have left behind. I would maybe speculate that he might attempt to use it to undo the Curse of Flesh or something like that. Maybe that would mirror what King Mechagon wants to do with the Mech Originator. Alternatively, though...
That's actually, like, probably one of the smartest things I've ever heard Bellular say. So what if they actually do that? And, like, Wrathion's solution is to activate the Forge and remove the Curse of Flesh, effectively killing everyone. To stop the old gods. That'd be actually like a really, really interesting... I don't know, would that be too much of a parallel to Sargeras, though? Because that's kind of like his same line of thinking as well. Yeah, literally... yeah, I don't know. It's basically like Sargeras, though. Sargeras thought of it first, exactly. Robots should live. Yeah, it'd be King Mechagon in the same way. Do that. So yeah, they could do that. Wrathion actually succeeds in activating the Forge, killing every single player, and then WoW 2 happens. Boom. There it is. It'd be like the Big Bang.
I think this is maybe what he'll try to do. I think Wrathion might try to use the Forge of Origination in conjunction with whatever drives this anti-Old God tonic. Indeed, if the entire purpose of the Forge is to protect the World Soul of Azeroth and to bolster its form, maybe he could use that in conjunction with that tonic.
What if that's why we go to the Shadowlands? Because everybody dies.
Corruption. Going deeper into this tonic is going to be very interesting indeed. You see, Wrathion found this in, like, Tomes of Knowledge in Karazhan. Well, in patch 7.1, Medivh tells Khadgar that he can't fight the Legion because he's got to go and do other things. Medivh then flies off to the Twisting Nether.
Oh, yeah,
now,
you've got to be a bird.
If he's not fighting the Legion, he's probably doing something Void-related. Now, after Legion, Khadgar then returns to Karazhan to confer with Medivh and also to search the Karazhan library for clues to defeating the Old Gods. So, what did we just find out? Well, we just found out that Wrathion also searched the Karazhan library, and he was able to figure out this anti-Old God tonic. So what if Wrathion and Khadgar came upon the same information, or just were looking for the same information? Indeed, we hear talk of Void fighting Void in these journals. So assuming Medivh is still on our side, maybe he went off after the Return to Karazhan patch to learn more about the Void and see how, you know, he could fight Void with Void. Maybe he's dealing with Xal'atath right now. We don't know. It really does seem like Medivh is more involved in events than we may currently think. But there you go.
I'd like to see Medivh play a bigger role. I always thought Medivh was one of the coolest characters in the game, and I don't know why, I just always thought he was awesome. So if Medivh did play a bigger role, I would be very happy about that. I don't know, he just feels like he's like the traditional, like, wizard in the game. He's basically like, I don't know, like Merlin or Gandalf or something like that. And I don't know, I just think it's awesome. Yeah, I'd just love to see Medivh play a bigger role, because he's also like, he's like core WoW lore. You know, if you care about like the WoW lore, you know about like Medivh, for example. Isn't he the one that opened up the whole Black Portal? Dark Portal, you mean? Yeah, I mean, look, he's done some good things, he's done some bad things, right? That's just the way it goes. Okay, I mean, you can't always expect people to do the right thing. Yeah, it was a mistake. Probably should not have done that, but it wasn't really his fault. And you're right, it was not his fault, because his mother, Egwene, fought off and banished the Avatar of Sargeras at the bottom of Tomb of Sargeras, and in doing so, the Avatar cursed Egwene to where her son, Medivh, was basically under Sargeras' control, and so it wasn't really Medivh doing it. It's kind of like whenever somebody says, well, I said that, but I was drunk, so it doesn't count. Well, he opened up the Dark Portal, but, you know, it was really Sargeras, so it didn't count. Okay, guys, it's pretty much the same thing.
Plan to defeat the Old Gods is falling into place, but I think one thing is for certain. Given how early on we're hearing about this plan, I have to imagine it will not be smooth sailing. So there you go, no doubt we'll learn more about Wrathion in 8.3. After all, we've only seen a few pages of his journal. Do we know what Wrathion was doing in Draenor? Do we know if he was involved with Ebonhorn during Neltharion?
Really, who cares about Draenor?
We have no idea.
Really,
we'll find out in due course. Thank you very much for watching this video. Be sure to check out Audible if you're interested invested in picking up a free audiobook. The WoW ones are really great. There's a pretty big library there of the really good WoW books, and of course they really support our channel. They support things like the new hiring and the game development. I think we really do put that sponsorship stuff to good use over here, and just your support for that is very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.
Okay. I mean, this is pretty much what everybody kind of expected. Now, obviously, I think everyone is kind of hoping that Wrathion plays a part. At least I am. I think Wrathion's been... Wrathion is an example of a character in the story that has come up through the natural events of World of Warcraft, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, so many of the characters in the game are basically residuals from Warcraft 3. So I'd like to see things come into the game that are completely new, and characters that do kind of bring something just completely unique that aren't kind of just like, I don't know, they just would come from Warcraft 3, basically. That's all I'm really trying to say. Like Garrosh.